The general expression for a trinomial is ax squared plus bx plus c. When a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 8, determine the value of c so that the expression factorizes into a perfect square. Show your working. And so here we have ax squared plus bx plus c. And we know that a is equal to 1, b is equal to 8. But we need to determine what is the value of c so that the expression factorizes into a perfect square. A is 1, so we substitute that. B is 8, so we put that into our expression. And so we have 1 times x squared, and 1 times x squared is 1x squared. And we have 8 times x, and we have that right here. And we put plus c. What is 1 times x squared? Well, 1 times x squared is x squared. And so we have x squared plus 8x plus c. But what is 8x? Well, we can express 8x as 2 times 4 because 2 times 4 is 8. And so we have x squared plus 2 times 4 times x plus c. And so we can, since multiplication is commutative, which means that it doesn't matter the order in which you multiply, we can take 4 and we can put it in the back of x because 2 times x times 4 is still 8x, and 2 times x times 4 is still 2 times 4 times x. It doesn't matter if I put the x in the 4 in the middle or if I put the 4 at the end. It doesn't matter. The result will still be the same. 2 times 4 is still 8. 2 times 4 is still 8. And so we'll still get 8x. So this expression, 8x, is still 8x here, and it's still 8x here. We just wrote it in a different way. And so we have x squared plus 2x times 4 plus c. Now, if we look at our expression for perfect squares, so this right here, x plus y times x plus y, this gives us the equation for the perfect square. So this right here is a perfect square, x plus y times x plus y. That's a perfect square because it's the term multiplied by itself, all right? And so that's what we mean by perfect square, the term multiplied by itself. And so what we have here is that when we have x plus y multiplied by x plus y, what it's going to be equal to, or the formula for it, is x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. So what does that mean? That means, and also let me also show you why it's a perfect square, because if I have x plus y, right, and I have x plus y, that's actually equal to x plus y. That's equal to x plus y squared, all right? And so that's why we call it a perfect square, because if we have x plus y squared, that's equal to x plus y times x plus y. So the term multiplied by itself, all right? That's what we mean by perfect square. What is the formula, right, for x plus y squared? Well, x plus y squared is equal to x plus y times x plus y. But if we would have the actual formula, the formula is that if we have a perfect square, it's going to be, if we have a perfect square x plus y, and if we have x plus y, so the formula is telling us that if we have x plus y squared, then that's equal to x plus y times x plus y, which is equal to x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Again, if we have x plus y squared, which is a perfect square, and we expand it, it's going to be equal to x plus y times x plus y, which is equal to x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. And so if we compare the formula with what we have in our equation, right, we will see something important. So notice that this right here is x squared, all right? Then we have 2, right? And we have 2 here, right? Then we have x here. Then we have x here. But then we have y here, right? We have y here. But then we have 4 here, all right? So we have 4 here. So what does that mean? Well, that means that y, right? Y must be equal to 4, okay? So y is equal to 4, okay? And so what else do we know? But we also know, not only do we know that y is equal to 4, we also know that c, right? C is equal to y squared, okay? And so let's compare these things again. Let me erase our link. So we have that x squared is equal to x squared. We have that 2 is equal to 2, and x is equal to x, right? Then we have y is equal to 4. Okay, y is equal to 4. And then we have y squared is equal to c. Okay, so we're comparing the formulas. And so we have y is equal to 4. Okay, y is equal to 4. What does that tell us about y squared? Well, y squared is equal to 4 times 4, which is 4 squared, because y is equal to 4. So it's going to be 4 squared, and 4 squared is equal to 16. But remember, we said that y squared is equal to c. And so that's what c is. C is equal to y squared, and y squared is 16. So c is equal to 16, all right? And so that's how we got what c is, right? We got that c is equal to 16 by comparing our perfect square formula with our expression that we have above. We have that x squared is equal to x squared, 2x is equal to 2x, y is equal to 4, and so we have y is equal to 4, and y squared is equal to c. And so if y is equal to 4, y squared is equal to 4 squared, and 4 squared is equal to 16. But since y squared is equal to c, c is equal to 16 because 16 is y squared. And so let's suppose that c is equal to 16, all right? We still have to show that the expression factorizes into a perfect square. So based on our comparison, we suppose that c is equal to 16. It seems like c is 16, but we have to show that if we use 16, then our expression would factorize into a perfect square. And so let's use 16. So we say, okay, well, if c is 16, that means that x squared plus 2x4, right? Plus c will not be c anymore. It will be 16. All right, so let me erase this. So that means that x squared, this will still be x squared. 2x will still be 2x. We'll still have 4, but c is going to be 16. All right, c is 16. And so let's factorize this particular expression. And so we have 2x times 4, which is 8x. So we have x squared plus 8x plus 16. Now we factorize this particular expression. We have to look for two numbers that when we add them, we get 8, all right? 8, and when we multiply them, we get positive 16. Two numbers, when we add them, we get 8, and when we multiply them, we get positive 16. All right, two numbers that we can use is 4 and 4, because 4 plus 4 is 8, and 4 times 4 is 16. And so we express 8x as 4x plus 4x. And so we have x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16. We factorize this particular expression because both of these terms have x in it. So we factor out x, and that leaves us with x plus 4, because x times x is x squared, and x times 4 is 4x. And so this is the factored form of this particular expression. Then here we have 4x and we have 16, and 4 is a factor of itself, 4 is a factor of 4, and 4 is a factor of 16. And so we factor out the 4. So we have 4 times x, and we have 4. So we have 4 times x, which is 4x, and we have 4 times 4, which is 16. And so notice here we have x plus 4, and here we have x plus 4. So we can factor out the x plus 4. And when we factor out x plus 4, we are left with x plus 4. So we have x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4. But what is x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4? Well, x plus 4 multiplied by x plus 4 is x plus 4 squared. And so if c is equal to 16, then it follows that the expression factorizes into a perfect square, x plus 4 squared. And that's the answer to this particular expression. That's the answer to this particular question, I should say. And so that's our answer here.